Hey everyone, welcome to Two Geminis with Mikes. We are back. These two quirky and weird Geminis are going to take you through some more topics that matter to us, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to try and take the limitations off the conversation. I've listened to me winging our intro. Here we go. All right. So first things first, we're gonna hop into a new kind of series we want to try, which is we're kind of pulling a tarot card to see what we want to talk about and kind of give us a vibe. We're kind of leaving it up to the fates, I guess, or our spirit guides, whatever resonates with you. So was it Friday we pulled this card? A couple days ago we pulled this card. The intention is to do this right before the episode, but we did want to try a quick run through, and we really liked what came up, so we ended up sticking with it. Brooke, you want to take it away since I can't say the name of the card right and I keep calling it a knight?
For sure. So Friday night, we were just planning out this episode, and we were going off about it. And tarot is one of our tools that we like to use to find clarity, to ask our spirit guides or ask the universe for guidance in just asking, because sometimes we don't even know what we're asking for and we just want to talk and bullshit, and this is just one great way we find to connect. Mm-hmm. And we got the King of Wands.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I keep calling it the Knight of Wands, even though I know what a King of Wands is. And and even when you held it up, I was expecting Knight of Wands again, but it's the King.
Yeah, the Kings have been calling us, and I find it very, it was so symbolic, I found, when we pulled it, because
wands are creativity too, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to do here is follow some type of creativity, and we have Queen Herbie to thank for that, because she's been a huge inspiration to us. I think she's part of the reason we finally pulled the trigger on the podcast and kind of like moved forward on it. Yeah. So being a master is often, I think, where the kings come in. And I wouldn't say we're masters, but I think it's like they're the master of the suit of
but
wands,
that's what we're and this is what I find is so beautiful, is I find like right now we are the fool, and the king is our goal. And it's so beautiful that we're starting off in the fool stage, and then the first freaking card that we pull is a King of Wands. And it's so beautiful to see that energy and to know that if we do try and we do put effort into this, we can make it a king out of this fool's journey. And I just think that is it's so beautiful and so symbolic. And it's just like, wow, isn't that just us?
And those of you not familiar with the tarot journey, the first card in the deck is number 0. It's the Fool. Like, it doesn't actually have a number. I think it's labeled 0. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's the representation of the journey through the cards. And that's kind of the story you can follow as you study, at least Rider Waite. I don't know enough about like different types of tarot to really speak on that, but it can be found in other decks, and I think it has a similar meaning as well in different types of tarot. But we do use the more common Rider Waite typically design. And yeah, it represents starting a journey and being foolish enough to step off the ledge. Really? So it feels fitting that the hope is to one day but grasp that creativity.
I want to lead by example. That is,
and not be scared of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like just showing that we don't have everything figured out. We actually have nothing ever figured out. We are literally just winging it. Literally. We try to plan this thing out like so many times, and then we come to Friday and go, let's pull a card and wing it. Because
Yeah, it
that's
just
just
doesn't.
us.
But I think it's also like feeling the energy of the day. We get there and we're like, that's just not a topic that feels right today. It's a topic we want to conquer. It's a topic we want to talk about, but like it's just none of it has felt like the right day. But with all that aside, like we do want to also start our this is all going to eventually melt together, but we want to bring in a good news story at the beginning of our episodes too. And I think that's kind of what inspired a big chunk of this story and could even inspire future podcasts. But we were having a little staff meeting, as we like to call them, on Friday. It's just us. There's nobody else, guys. It's just me and Brooklyn on this call. It's no different than what we're doing right now. Um, and we were trying to find a story that might fit this. And we found recently there was a story posted that said that some researchers think they may have found Amelia. Is it Eckhart or Earhart?
Earhart.
Earhart's plane. My gosh, don't mind me over here, guys. I'll probably screw that up 5 more times this episode. So, and while there's been many people that have said this before, and there are many critics coming through saying that they don't believe that's what's happening or whatever, we thought this was really cool. And then Brooklyn pulled her chart before even I could because I could not find the dates. It's just having a time. But anyway, so do you want to talk about some of the things that you noticed in her chart first?
Yeah, and like it just brought us down like a weird rabbit hole. Like when we do our research, both of our brains go in two completely different areas, but we normally end up meeting at the end. And this is what I just find so fascinating and so interesting because it's like, it's just interesting to watch other people's brains. I just turned off my mic.
Yourself again?
At least I realized this time and not halfway through and being like just talking to myself.
I was like, oh no, she cut out. It must be the internet.
No, just turning off my
No,
mic all on my own.
it's a protest.
So while I was deep diving into Amelia, because it was just, we were trying to find good news. Actually, so to start it off, we were looking for good news in Canada and not a lot popped off. So then we clicked on this. We were just looking for some good feminine energy story, something that speaks to
Something
us.
within our wheelhouse, basically, a lot of the topics that matter to us.
Yeah, and I found this one website and I was scrolling on it, didn't really see anything too interesting. And then Keisha pops on that same website and goes, "Ooh, Amelia." Clicks on Amelia. And then she deep dives into her history and goes down that one. And then I pulled up her birth chart. So to the Google machine, the Google machine said that she was born July 24th, 1897. So because this was so long ago, I don't actually know if any of this is factual. Just putting that out
Yeah, the
there.
birth time and stuff. Now, because it's the same like everywhere, I kind of want to say we've got an accurate birth time, but I mean, none of the other stuff. Like, we don't know the exact date she disappeared. We don't know. Yeah, so there's a lot of nuances that we don't have the times and dates for, but we're
Yeah.
going off what we have.
Yeah, we haven't finished our research. And once we realized, like, this was just something we quickly pulled up on Friday. And then all of a sudden, our Gemini brains were like, oh my God, there's so much research that we just did not have time for. So, this is why we just decided to quickly pull the birth chart. And then when we pulled the birth chart, I was like, how did we do this? How did we do this again? Because this kind of stuff just keeps happening to us. The universe just keeps leading us on this path, and things like this keep popping
Yeah.
up.
I saw it
So
before this moment.
and so this is like all new information as of Friday to both me and Keisha. And it is Sunday, we're recording. So this is literally 2-day new information to us. So her big three, which is her sun, moon, and rising. Her sun is a Leo because she was born in July, the end of July, July 24th. So that makes her a Leo sun. And then she's a Gemini moon and a Taurus rising. So I found that was very fitting and very interesting, especially for us two Geminis, because we're not exactly Gemini suns, but we do have strong Gemini placements, and we see it
And
in our lives.
yeah, and her chart ruler, so the ruler of Taurus, so her rising sign is Taurus. So then you take the ruling planet of Taurus, which would be Venus, and you find where Venus is, and that's also in Gemini. So this woman has like a pretty heavy Gemini presence.
Well, and her Pluto's in Gemini, her Neptune's in Gemini, her Venus is in Gemini. It's it's a lot of Gemini, and
And
I just
not only
found that
that, but look at her North Node in Aquarius.
I
We both
know.
have our North Node in Aquarius, you know that, right? And also Pluto
I
just
do.
went into Aquarius.
Yeah, I know. Like and I find it very interesting because also, like my mom's an Aquarius, so I find it very interesting that my North Node is in Aquarius. But
Mhm.
that's just me, and yeah, I just
Also,
find that
like
very
moon
very
and
interesting.
oh my god, we're gonna get off in an aside here. It's like I see it coming now. We're doing it.
I see it. I see it.
We're doing
There's
it.
the astrologing again.
Yeah, and it's really cool because if you look at her birth chart, and I don't really know how, I don't, I'm scared to screen share because I've never done it in this thing. So we're gonna just kind of talk about it. Um, I guess I could try to screen share, but I don't know. No, I'm gonna leave it. I'm scared. This is too like I'm scared if I press something, the whole screen's gonna go off and the whole recording's gonna be garbage. So
We won't be able to go back once we go forward.
that's actually what I'm worried about. Like we're gonna have to try that off camera, but for maybe if we're able to do like a full episode on this, because honestly, there's so much information that this short good news story turned into like its own damn like episode. So I was like, okay, we might have to just take pieces and go that way. So but if you also look at her chart, she's got so much like stuff baked in with her Venus. Like she's got um her working, both of her health planets are in there, like doing their own thing with Pluto and Neptune. And to me, that Pluto and Neptune presence is sitting right on our chart ruler, which represents self in the chart, really. So anything that happens to that planet is really speaking onto things that could happen to the self, I feel like. And when you've got this Pluto Neptune presence, I hear like all I see is darkness and darkness and dare I say vagueness or not knowing maybe what happened to oneself. You know what I mean? Like you see this Pluto right next to her Venus, which is her chart ruler. And Pluto's often like the dark depths, the hidden things. And there's so many ways you could interpret that, but I think it's very interesting that you've also got this Neptunian presence right next to it and nobody knew what happened to her,
Mm-hmm.
and audiences were just like completely encapsulated by this, and the ruler of that house is also sitting right there. So like I think it's very fascinating to see all of this sitting in her second house and like the things that she probably got money for, and audience were encapsulated by it, but then you've got this nobody actually knows what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think it's super interesting.
yeah, and there was like a lot of a lot of stories about it, and there was like a lot of conspiracies about it, which I found very interesting.
Pluto and Neptune.
Literally. And like all of the conspiracies about the weird stuff, and then it just being it being her plane didn't make it, and it might have possibly crashed in
So
the
many
ocean.
things could have happened, right? And like
Like, it's
the
just
crazy
so
thing,
interesting.
and also that all of these planets are sitting in Gemini. And what did we say about Gemini? It's communicative. And
Mhm.
like she had these letters that she had sent to her husband during her final travels that made it to him, I'm assuming after her death, that were posted and called the final flight. And I think so, like, the fact that she's probably like wherever that's money's going, who knows? Like if any of that's still being sold, I have no idea. I didn't check into that. But if it is, the fact that you're gonna sneeze, Brooklyn, aren't you?
I'm trying to hold it back. I'm like, oh my god.
just, just like stick your head off camera. I'll keep talking. You do you. Mute. Use that mute button on your mic.
Sneeze into the microphone.
Oh my god. Nobody would ever listen to us again. They'd be like, those girls are disgusting. Geminis are the worst.
That's where we get our hate from.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're like, oh god,
oh
I can't even
god.
deal with those women. That was not a snort. That was a laugh through my nose, which is a snort, isn't it? Dang it.
Oh no, I'm crying. Oh
Me
god.
too. Only one eye, though.
Me too. It's always this one, and it's very interesting because that's the one that I
Oh,
got
I did not
chilled
mean
with.
to stiffen the mic either. Jesus. Sorry, guys. And now I'm swearing. Just cursing. Whatever. At least we've selected that this isn't
uh,
for children, so and
Definitely
it's
not.
about to get worse this episode, guys. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
jeez.
you have children listening, tune out now.
Yeah, because there's some stuff about creativity coming up, and we were crying laughing earlier, so that's all I'm gonna say. It's not appropriate. Uh,
It
so
got real
anyway,
popular real fast.
yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, so she's got um and like I mean she was also a feminist and
Yes.
she really pushed that forward and I think you can really see that with her north node squaring her ascendant in her natal chart. So like her career and life direction is an Aquarius, and Aquarius has a very like open way of looking at things. Like it's fixed, yes, their ideas are fixed, but they also like to expand the mind in the weird ways. You know what I mean? Like aliens, research, high tech. We've got all this stuff, right? And like who and air well, I mean, Aquarius is an air sign, so like why not say flight? And it's squaring her ascendant. So I feel like this is very much like the need to prove oneself is what it feels like. And what else would a woman have to do in this day and age? And she did so much stuff. She wrote a book, like she's written books. She has a clothing line that she started for active women because like at this time I'm sure women were mostly wearing like very feminine like skirts and stuff. I don't think pants were widely accepted.
Or boy clothes. Like if they were,
Boy
it
clothes.
was men's clothes that they were wearing.
Yeah.
And like she cut her hair short, and like the things that they had to do to follow, to become a pilot, to become these manly things,
Mhm.
is just so inspiring, and so like it's
And,
just like that
like
saying, like with
yeah.
like men, like whatever. And like we feel, I feel like women limit themselves because we've been kept in this box for so long, and like only we're so good at baking, and we are good at baking, and we are
Oh
good
my
at
god, I'm the
cooking.
best at baking. I made a carrot cake last night.
But we're also good at other things too.
I do like I do like food, and I do like baking, but, like, I mean, that doesn't mean I don't like, that doesn't mean that's what I wanna do all the time either, like, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? I yeah, I get what you mean. It's,
We don't wanna just put ourselves in a box. Like, for me, I love being a jack of all trades. Like, that is my goal in life is to be a master of none and just to be, well, like
Such a
that saying
Gemini thing to say.
it is, but like that, like, and then after finding out that that is like a Gemini quote, I'm like, that is me. Like, I want to know a skill enough so I can do good at it, but I don't want to become a like, for me, I would rather be good at lots of things and not a master of one specific thing.
Specific.
My
I
English is on point today.
and see, this is also the difference between somebody with 3 Gemini placements and somebody with 1 and multiple Taurus placements. Because, like, I'm somebody who is like, I want to master certain things when I get like deep into them. Like baking, I wanted to be the best I could be at baking, and without even concentrating on it, I just did it. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain talents that come with certain signs, and I kind of went onto astrology again instead of feminism, but like
They work together.
it's just funny. It's because a lot of the things that I enjoy to do are considered like feminine things, but I think that there needs to be space in the world for women who don't feel like that, or no matter the gender identity. If you're not like a straight white cis man, all things should be open to everybody. Like, I really, not to get like controversial here, but I think human rights are human rights. And
Yes. Well, not to, but to.
yeah, but
Because
to
we
show,
are, but
to
to,
drive straight into it.
because we're about humanity, period.
Yeah,
Like
right.
everyone is equal.
Yeah,
And this is like one thing that I find that we both really connect on is we find human rights are human rights, just that. Like, it's not just for women, it's not just for men, it's just not just for a color. It's
yeah.
we see and we are aware that there is some, well, not there is some, there is definitely a lot of stuff happening in this world that isn't great, and we are trying to bring voices to it so there are people out there that can fix it, because we know that we are just one person. Like, I'm one person and Keisha's one person. We're not a whole world. We can't.
We want to talk about the things, and then the people that might not know that these things are being talked about, then maybe it'll create a conversation. And maybe, like, I think there's a lot of fear in the world about things that people don't understand, and they just don't realize that it's not theirs to understand. It's none of your damn business.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
it's,
I love the let them theory. And
yes.
I think I heard about it through Mel Robbins. Well, really Mel Robbins, and then my therapist brought it up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been operating very much on that. Like, if somebody pisses me off or somebody does something that I don't agree with, I'm like, well, though, is this mine to be worried about? Is this within my control? Does it matter? Will it matter? Then let them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not
Exactly.
like, don't let people walk all over you now, but like, there's boundaries, and then there's things that we just kind of got to let go of.
Well, and
And
I think that that's that one that this podcast is helping us do, because I try to, especially being a Virgo, like I try to put out that perfect image, that perfect persona all the time, and it can be exhausting. It can be
oh,
exhausting.
I
And it's
remember. Sorry, keep going.
it just shows that you're a real human. Like, when I start letting people see the real me and start showing that I'm human, that's when I get a lot more understanding from people and not so much judgment.
And I think there was also something, I'm going to quote another person that I'm obsessed with. I think it was Brene Brown. She is, oh my God, she is just, she studies shame, and she's got a wicked sense of humor about it. And like, I just adore this woman. Um, but she said something about, oh, how did it go? Uh, Oh, I'm having a moment. I can't remember it. Brooklyn. My brain is having its. Ugh. Okay, I might have to cut that off there because I can't remember what I was saying.
But that's okay. I was blowing my nose.
I was like, yeah, right. I was like, help me. I forgot.
Brene Brown. And then all I was saying was the wrong name in my head. And I was like,
I'm like trying to grasp at the idea. Where did it go? Oh, vulnerability. There it is. You know what? I might not even cut that out because that was good. Vulnerability. Basically, she says
Why is
how
it cutting out
because it
now?
really ties into what you were saying about the need for vulnerability and things, and like how when we're vulnerable, people want to see that. People connect to it and they enjoy it, but we're all too scared to be vulnerable. So, like, unless somebody's going to lead the charge and be vulnerable, people are never going to feel like it's okay. And I think that's part of what we want to do here, too, right? Like,
well, yeah, and embrace it. Embrace ourselves. And like growing up, anytime I was vulnerable, that's when I would be made fun of or someone would try to pick on me. And then I would be like, okay, well, that's going in the closet. Not bringing that self out again. And
just got the
then
key.
literally, and then it was like growing up and then bringing all of that
Out
and like embracing
demons
it
out
and
of the
loving
closet.
it. Literally, it feels like, oh
We
my
play
God,
dress
this
up
is
with
so
our
funny.
demons now.
I was just about to say this is my it feels like my Mr. Dress Up trunk. Did you ever watch Mr. Dress Up?
Oh God, yeah, but like oh my God, I don't remember a lot of it nowadays. But yeah, that was something I was
Yeah,
a
and
lot of.
it feels like this trunk that I only take out and play by myself, and I'm scared to like show other people my crazy funky outfits. And then that's like literally been my 30s, is just embracing those things, bringing those things out and
I like your
showing
weird
the
though. Like I feel like if you weren't cool and weird, we wouldn't be friends.
well, and
I
like
like
that's
weirdos.
but that's the thing, is that's embracing it now, because for such a long time I thought I had to be this suit wearing, and like I so badly love colored suits. Like just dressing up and like I seen this pink suit and I so regret not buying it. To this day, I'm like, shit, I should have bought that
We
suit.
will get you a pink suit one day.
But
That is
like,
now a goal of the podcast. You will be wearing a pink suit on on the podcast one day, or on a social media post. I don't care if I gotta go to
literally,
Value Village.
Value Village, VV Boutique.
I don't care if I gotta go thrift shopping in a big city. We're gonna find you a pink suit now.
But yeah, like I always thought it
It
always
needs
had
shoulder
to,
pads only.
it has to have like the big shoulder pads.
I love it. Okay, we got way off topic again.
We did way off topic.
Okay, so we should probably turn around and go back the other way. Uh,
Turn the car around. Turn the car around.
we gotta turn around. I think we've covered a lot on Amelia because really we wanted to talk a little bit about how weird the astrology is, and like even now there's some you've got. I want to say one last thing before we get off of this, because it's going to melt into our other things. But there is Pluto is going into her 10th house. And there are times where after one's death, you can still follow some transits and see different things. So, like, if they have, like, maybe a lasting impression, like, it might not work for everybody. I don't know. I've never really tried it besides this, and I'd heard about it. So, Pluto's going into Aquarius, which again is transformation. I just hit my mic again with my nails. I'm gonna have to cut these off. So it's going in its transformation. It's bringing up truths. It's revealing things from the darkness, and it's getting within 5 degrees. Or stop laughing at me, Brooklyn.
I just think it's funny that it's like The nails keep coming back.
I know.
They're
And
like,
it's just
you can't get rid of me.
I actually
We are
really
here
love this.
forever.
I actually quite love this. But I'm
I think
about
we
to.
should also just like every episode take a moment to appreciate Keisha's nails because
Well, don't do that because I'm gonna have to chop them off. This little, I almost called it a swear word. I'm trying not to like curse all the time on this because I have a potty mouth, man.
she curses like a sailor.
I do, and I never mind. I'm not even gonna say it. Yeah, I do. But this one's like really getting really deep, so I'm gonna take this off and chop them all off because I would rather have short nails than accidentally rip off my nail. So I think that's pretty valid. Um, okay, anyway. Basically, we want to use Amelia as a bit of a segue into following your dreams and your creativity. Because, like, what else did she do but follow a dream she was told wouldn't be possible as a woman in the early 1930s, 20s? I think her first flight was somewhere in 1928, and that
Yeah.
wasn't even her flying. She was a passenger on her first flight across. They just wanted to say that a woman had flown it. Probably because they thought our uteruses would fall out or something. Just kidding. That's not fact. That was something I heard about the trains. They weren't sure if women could go on trains at one point because they were like, what about their uteruses?
They can't
I
hold
don't know
on.
Yeah, like,
We can't go fast. It'll
fall out of their body. I don't know. It was something insane. It's just like, is this true? I don't know. But anyway. So there is basically here we got somebody chasing a dream that everybody's telling her is bullshit, right? And she ignored them and she damn well did it anyway. And that is what we want to talk about today. So, sorry if you can hear my dog walking around on his friggin' long nails. I need to get those cut. Anyway, so basically, we pulled this card for the King of Wands, and while that represents creativity, it can also represent taking control, it can represent being a leader, it can represent so many things, and creativity and all these good things. And we wanted to kind of also take that and talk about our first experience uploading the podcast because I think we had a very interesting experience that we were not expecting. We both got very triggered in the process. We had to sit back and really like re-examine, and we had to like I noticed I was blaming Brooke for things that were my fault. And I was like, this is on me. Right? Like I was like, is she helping me? Like, oh my God. And then I was like, yes, she is. You're just seeing it that way because you're looking for somebody to blame because you're overwhelmed. And it's like that self-reflection, I think, is why we're able to continue to do this together. Oh, I think you froze on me again, Brooke.
Mine keeps freezing hard, and then you're just like off talking, and then mine's freezing, and I'm just trying to look there like trying not to move lots. I don't know where you went off because you were talking about how we're talking about the first episode and how vulnerable it is, and then mine
And
cut
it
off.
was extremely vulnerable, and I struggled like making sure I wasn't blaming you because I found myself trying to take responsibility for myself and put it on you. And then that was the moment that I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you not taking responsibility for something that you agreed to do? You know what I mean? Like, and I think for me, that was the moment where I really stepped back and I was like, I am triggered by this because I'm stepping so far out of my comfort zone by doing this um, that I just like couldn't face it not working. And I think when you're doing something creative, that's just not the way to go about it. But it's okay to be triggered as long as you're able to be like, hey, why am I doing this? a little bit of self-reflection. Why are
Mm-hmm.
you putting it on other people? People that are helping you, that are being wonderful to you. You know what I mean? And then you take that moment, and then we had conversations about it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it. Um,
Yeah, no,
and
definitely.
yeah, and do you want to talk about your experience, how you felt?
Yeah, and then my experience was a little bit different. I was going into the future and freaking out about the future and just getting all I was getting so anxious about ruining what you've already built up. And it was just like, for me, it was that whole this is going to sound so funny, but like for me, I felt like it was like a stepdad syndrome where I was like coming in and just like changing all of the hard work that you've like already done in creating this child, and then all of a sudden I come in and you've built it up to teach it how to play hockey, and then I want to teach it how to play baseball or or something, or teach it how to curl or something like that. Like, no, hockey's not the way. We're gonna go curling instead.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like,
loved it.
so
Like,
that was like my fear, was just like taking your baby away from you and just changing it completely into something that you didn't envision at all. And then that
and
was like my thing.
you know what's funny though? I see what you mean, because from my side, it was hard to release some control. Changing
Hmm.
the accounts was so much harder on me than I ever thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
I didn't realize how closely I held the work I had done, the experience I had experienced on that nail account, the people I had met. Um, and like, I hope that those people want to join us, but I get that this isn't for everybody. But it was really, it was interesting. I think that's where I got triggered. The need for, I had to learn to release control to you. I had to make up, once the counts were changed and the announcements were made, I felt a lot better. It was a lot easier to release control, but it was hard. It was hard. But we're gonna go into a quick little segment here because I think our connection's getting kind of crappy. So we want to see what we can. I don't even know. I'm hoping this episode will be usable, but because we want to go into one quick little last topic that we were killing ourselves over this morning. Brooklyn was like, "I will never doubt what we're doing again together," and she sent me a video of this lady that was talking about, if you don't, we could link the video to the lady, not the actual jewelry, but we'll link to the lady on TikTok or
Yeah, we'll
Instagram.
link. I'm pretty sure it was TikTok. I can't even remember
I don't
now.
know. We'll find it and we'll put it
Yeah.
in like the description box. But she was talking about how if you're doubting doing your art, like you should look at what some of these other people are doing. And she literally put a snippet in, and get this, I'm not kidding, jizz jewelry.
As weird and as messed up as it is, that is literally my inspiration, because we've had some really great ideas and they're just sitting there
Yeah. Like, and
in the
we're worried to
little
talk about
magic
them. Like,
box. Mhm.
I I mean, women's sexuality is one that we'll eventually touch on, and it's just something I think we're not ready to talk about, which is so funny because now we're talking about semen on the podcast. But
Well,
like,
and I feel like this is our segue. Like,
this is how
this
weird it's
is
going to get.
yeah, and like, not that we are going to adventure into that kind of jewelry, but we
Never
are
say never. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I think I just traumatized myself. Oh,
Oh
I
god.
just wasn't
And like,
expecting it.
I wasn't expecting you to go look at it. That's what was just in my eyes. It's that was one thing I thought we were safe there, but I blew past that one completely.
just like, I was like, wait a second, but like, how are they getting this classification? Like, I just needed to know, like, how they were doing it. I was like, is it legit? Is it just the appearance? Is it like intentional? Intentional bodily
And
fluid? I don't know. I just
and all it was supposed to do was spark some inspiration. And
then send me some Queen Herbie. Don't send me something that I'm gonna go scar myself in.
well, now I know. Now I know what the limitations are. if Keisha's gonna go search this, don't send it.
And you know
Don't.
what's funny? Like,
And then there's other things that I sent you that I really wish you would research, and you're just like, no, out the window. But the jizz jewelry,
I
I'm deep
will.
diving in
I
that.
will. The other stuff, but it's just like sometimes I'm like, Brooklyn's Brooklyning. I'm not gonna open that. I was like, I cannot go down this rabbit hole with her because I will no. So sometimes that's why. But this one, I was like, I just needed to understand why they got the classification. And I wasn't expecting 10 seconds in for them to be like, this is the sample. And then I was like, this isn't a sperm donor fucking bank. Like, what is this?
And it really ended up being. That's literally what it ended up
And
being.
like,
So
not yucking anybody's yum here. Like, you know, if that's your thing, you do you, baby boo. But like,
go get you some jizz jewelry.
bit of a germaphobe over here.
A bit.
People's spit grosses me out. So like, don't. Like,
We're gonna get jizz jewelry.
oh, please never.
I just realized. I was like, this if we open up a mailbox.
Nobody has our addresses yet. We do not have P.O. boxes. We should hopefully be okay. I will never talk to that person again, and they will be blocked from our channel if I can figure out who they are. I would cry.
Oh God.
I would cry. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think it's hilarious.
But like, the full story was this husband was buying it for his wife. So like, that's okay. I just like, for me, it's more like, what? Like, I just hope the lady doing it is being safe. Because like, that's some personal stuff. Wear gloves. Just hope she's wearing gloves. I couldn't focus long enough to figure out if she was wearing gloves, and I wasn't going back.
But also we're here to say whatever your art is, like Queen Herbie says, we need your art. This is our art. We'd like to thank Queen Herbie for that because she has completely inspired us to be this. This is us. Welcome.
Yeah,
hope,
my
hope
mind's
you're here for
blown.
the ride.
My mind's just blown, and like the things that happen, like I'm all here for creativity. Like I love all forms of art and things. Like I might not get paintings that well, but like I can appreciate that is something that people get. You know what I mean? Like some people paint, some people make different kinds of jewelry than the ones we've been talking about. Some make beautiful, like I follow a crap ton of jewelry creators on like Etsy and stuff, and like even on Instagram. And then there's people that make music, there's people that are podcasting, there's people that are whiskey connoisseurs that we know. You know what I mean? Like it's all a form of art and creativity, and like diving into the senses. And I think that's something as humans that we forget how fulfilling that can be to people too. Right? And yeah, just do it. Do it with the confidence of the lady making crazy jewelry on TikTok that people are buying. I would like if she wouldn't have content.
People are buying this jewelry, and it is a real thing. So whatever you think is too weird to put on the internet, don't think it's too weird, because guess what? We're here to tell you it's not. We just found out today.
Yeah.
We just found out just today.
Not the way we wanted to.
And that was
Would
just
have
like
liked
another,
something a little bit more gentle.
but that's what we're here for. And that was just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mm,
literally,
that
uh,
that was a shock to the system.
it was a shock to my system that she went and researched it. But anyway,
Stop putting it on me like that.
I do.
She's like, it's your own damn
Literally,
fault. I ain't got no pity.
I literally just sent that video and then she immediately called me and I did not think that is not where my mind was going. I thought she was calling me about this podcast and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm not even ready. I'm eating my breakfast."
I think I
And then
started
she
it with
calls
like,
me,
don't worry, I'm not calling about the podcast. And you're like,
literally. I'm like, "Okay, good,"
talking
cuz
about?
I'm just finishing my breakfast and she was just like, "I can't finish mine." And I was like, "Oh."
What did you do? I was like, things I shouldn't have. Things I know better than this is why I don't research some things. It's because I traumatize myself. And the one time I'm like, you know what? How bad can it be? Real bad.
This is how
The
bad
answer's
it
real
can
bad.
be.
But yes, nonetheless, um, if you like inspiration, Queen Herbie is a really good one. If you like,
Mhm.
um, what I call her music high vibe, I feel like her music's high vibe. Like it's all about like owning your power and like being different and being
Inspirational.
quirky and like if you're the black sheep of the family, like she's very much felt like that. Um, oh God, she has a lot of really good podcast episodes too with I
Mhm.
think it's her hubby. That's her hubby,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and they
They've been
do
married for like
call her
17 or 18 years or something like that.
yeah, and, like,
Mhm.
they have a podcast called House of Herbie. It's something that we've loved, for a long time. It's very inspiring. It makes it feel okay to be weird and, uh, to be spiritual, to be quirky, to maybe be a little bit into divination. It makes you feel like you're not the only weirdo on the planet,
Yeah, and it just like it
right?
also just it makes us feel not alone because sometimes in this spiritual journey you feel so alone and so out in space by yourself and it's like we are on a spinning rock in the middle of space, but look how many people are on this planet. We're not doing this alone, we're doing it together. And I think as a collective, that's what I really want to bring is bring people together that are like us and that think like
Yeah.
us. And not all of us are going to have the same thought patterns and think the same, but we can collectively see where this leads us and I'm having a great time so far.
Yeah, and I think also, learning each other's weirdness and quirks and accepting them. You know, what has
Mhm.
been like I mean, it's great for our friendship anyway, but that's been part of the learning journey too, is, like, learning not to be so hard on the people close to you and allowing their creativity to come through. Because my god, I just gotta shout her out real quick, but, like, Brooklyn has been doing a lot of the visuals for the podcast. I keep getting compliments. Like, I had a hand in, like, one of them where I kinda did the base of it, and then she came in and she fixed 3 things, and it looked 50 times better, and I was like, "Maybe you should just do this."
Okay, but to be honest, like my English is no good. Like I am no good at the English, but I try. And English is
You're
my
not that
first
bad.
and only language, but like well like my grammar is like but that's
Yeah, but,
okay
like,
cuz like
everybody's got a strong suit, though. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Some people have the design, the creativity, or the math side of things, whatever it might be, and then, like, some people have strengths in other places, and that's the whole point,
Mhm.
right? And, like,
Well,
that's beautiful.
it is, and, I just, like, fits together with, like, our yin and yang, like, the
Yeah.
things that are my strengths are your not so much strengths, and your strengths I'm really not that great at, so that's where I let you
Yeah,
take the lead on that, but, that's where I find it balances out, and it works so beautifully, and when we let it flow, it just seems to work, and when we try to force it, it hurts.
it does. No, it does, like and that's even today, I was like, I just like, I don't feel like being contained by specific things. I wanted to just
Mhm.
like go and do it. And I think that's kind of where the tarot card thing came in too.
Yeah.
Like we were
Yeah,
just
and
like,
when
ugh.
yeah, and when we try to have something structured, it seems forced, and when it's forced, it doesn't seem natural. And that's what
Yeah,
we're trying to do is we're trying to bring our authentic side to it and show our personalities and who we are and the things that spark our spirit and our purpose.
yeah. And just talk about those things as they come up because I feel like yeah, every time we forced it or we've been like, let's do this, we end up changing it because it doesn't feel right at the end. And then
Mhm.
we end up doing
Mhm.
something like this and it feels so much better. And I think that's part of finding your flow too. And that's something
Mhm.
that Queen Herbie talks about a lot, creatives talk about a lot. And like
Yeah.
that's something that I'm only now, I feel like learning to do because it takes tapping into your intuition, I think, to be able to do that. And mine was so deeply blocked for so long that it's like, it's really hard to follow it. So, but I guess we should kind of wrap up because I mean, we've been filming for an extra 20 minutes and it went by so fast because we weren't having any internet problems for the first time
I know. And I
today.
just wanted to end with a quote.
Ooh, yes, let's.
So this is one of my favorite quotes from um, someone big in the Métis world and who is a distant relative of mine. And I think that it's absolutely beautiful. And it's just something that we are going towards. And now that we're past the time, I feel like it's something really inspiring. So it's a quote by Louis Riel. He was a big part of the Métis community, and I am also Métis, so that's why for me I just have such a big love for this quote. But it says, "My people will sleep for 100 years, but when they awake, it will be the artists who give them their spirit back." And to me, that quote is just everything about Aquarius. And
Yeah.
just like, I feel like this new age is just that. And with TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and just letting all of the creative letting our creative flag freak fly. Wow, I said that completely ass backwards. There's my
And you
dyslexic.
know what? I bought it. I was like, that's 100% correct. You go, girl. I'm on it.
And as the words were coming out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, there's the dyslexic playing in,
I
just
was
saying
like,
the words differently.
I didn't even notice. What does it say about me? I was like, yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm like, that's just you get what I'm putting
I
down.
was like,
But yeah, like
yeah.
it's just being creative, letting it out, showing it to the world, and connecting that way. Because I feel like we as a collective, the more that we share our art, the more that we share who we are, the more that we will be inspired by each other and be able to grow this beautiful community.
Mhm. I as you were talking, I also just realized because you said Pluto in Aquarius, and I just realized that we totally forgot to link Amelia's chart to Pluto in Aquarius with the fact that they used an underwater drone to that was completely self-propelled. And we are like, that's very like Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces, and they started in September. And that's how they found it, sonar. And we did not mention that at all. So
That's
there's
true.
that.
Yep. Astrology being astrologying again.
Yeah. And
It
then the
just it
Gemini's
happens
forgetting.
everywhere. Yep. In our Gemini way.
Oops. Whatever. I love it. I
Oh.
got caught up in the astrology, that's why, and I just kind of like went like
Like, wait a
tarot
minute.
at night. But yeah, and I think that's kind of where we're good to queue up and say goodbye until next time. we don't even know what our uploading schedule is going to be yet. We're just trying to get some content and enjoy the process of getting the content. So,
Mhm.
we'll talk to you guys soon, and we hope you'll tune in next time and see what these two weird Geminis are up to. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.